welcome to the best of Young Turks. Over the past 17 weeks, Minka and myself have been putting the spotlight on young achievers from all walks of life. Some of them have been entrepreneurs, some of them professionals, some of them taking their father's legacy forward. In this power-packed half hour, we bring you the 34 young achievers that have been featured on Young Turks. Well, you just got a glimpse of who our Young Turks are, but how did they all begin? Was it luck, was it an accident, or was it a little support from Dad?
It was more about my desire to change status quo.
And while I was working at my father's company, I realized his business was a lot to do with him.
And I never reported into straight as a daughter of the promoter. I reported into a Britisher, and I joined in as a product manager.
India was effectively, when I came here, maybe a 3-year-old economy in many ways. And our industry, in the sense that it was in other parts of the world, was very much a new industry.
A lot of mental game goes on, a lot of psyching up goes on. And part of the psyching up was, of course, it's a question of do or die.
What had happened initially, we started off. And the best part had been, as we grew from 1 store to 2 and 3, that is when I set in. Then we realized there's a scope for bigger store.
People were willing to pay for experience and experiencing something special. So with that concept, we went on to kind of grow.
People just threw me out of their office. They just started laughing at me. I still remember my family sitting on the sofa, and when I told them, they just couldn't stop laughing. I think they thought it was a big joke.
Borowski just happened. It was a chance, I would just say, right place, right time.
I was the accounts officer, sales officer, marketing officer, operations officer, trading officer, night checker, everything was there.
You know, physics is a large field. There are some questions in it that some people find more attractive than others. The kind of question I find most attractive goes to the essence of, is questions about the simplest things.
I put my resume in the wrong pile at Georgia State. Deloitte & Touche was recruiting management consultants, and they called me over to a seminar and they said, here's what management consulting is.
I think we were just so eager at the point. We were buzzing with ideas, and somehow the time seemed right.
I've always kept the World Championship as the main target.
It's just a challenge. It's just that one needs to, first of all, it's a combination. You need to be extremely alert. You've got to have the ability to see things in black and white.
Right through my education, the desire was always to work on my own.
I think just the excitement of competing against a McDonald's and a Pizza Hut on home ground is something that's worth living your dream for.
For me, it was very, very important to do what I love doing.
Variety has been the key goal with me, and just kind of exploring all that I can explore.
It took about a year for people to actually take me seriously.
In manufacturing, I worked on the shop floor, I worked in finance, I worked in marketing, I worked in business development, so I worked in a wide variety of roles.
Everybody said, boss, no way, this becomes a burger, it's not going to sell. I said, see, if it doesn't sell, I'll come back to selling the vada pav the way it is.
Yeah.
Let me take a risk. And that's what it worked. People loved it.
So they started work, but how did they change the company? What was their vision for the company? What was their mission statement? What was their contribution? Find out.
We raised $100 million, and it was a $35 billion valued company. So it was incredible because it was 20 years of work experience compacted into 2 years. And it really helped build my confidence.
My task was reasonably simple. When I walked in, I had to just make sure that each and every employee in the company understood that there's no rocket science to turning the company around. We corrected value. Rahul Malhotra had something to do with that, but cannot take the full credit for that because there were too many people involved in those decisions.
Intel wants to be the first advertiser on Contest to Win. And that was amazing. I said, my gosh, you know, when this is Intel calling and they want to buy my advertising, and they said, we're going to buy like a 1-year deal. We're going to own the North banner on Contest to Win for, you know, for the next year till December.
When we got our first huge contract, which was Rashtriya Chemical and Fertilizers, RCF, in Alibag, that was a 1 lakh contract a month. Wow. That was 12 lakhs a year. And when I saw that check of 1 lakh in my hand, I was like, shit, I've earned 1 lakh, you know, the big thing that time.
I've been lucky in that sense that work sort of brought in more work, which I think is the best way to do it.
While Young Turks was about discussing business plans, the road ahead, global ambitions, personal aspirations, it was also about fun. We capture the lighter moments for you. I believe you were at one point in time also young, wild and reckless, and you actually rode around on a BMW 650?
I actually picked up one of those BMW bikes that were available in India just before I got married, because I enjoyed bikes and I used to enjoy speeding on those.
So what made you give it up?
I had an accident. I had a cousin of mine on the bike, and I was in defense colony trying to save a dog.
Save a dog, or look at some pretty young thing that was walking by?
No, it was actually during the monsoon period, so it was quite slippery.
And then if you go through a week when you're completely stuck and nothing's moving, it's sort of nice to have something else to turn to, where you can solve little minor problems that you can solve. You feel less useless. That's a nice psychological pressure valve.
Okay. Swarovski, I think, is quite a tongue twister of a name, especially in India. We've heard hundreds of versions when we started off. I mean, so I won't get into that.
No, please do get into that. Well, what's the worst one that you've ever heard?
Swarovski. So it's like, you know, Sabka Swarovski, that's how we converted it.
You know, when I come back to my friends, then I would like to also experience that angle of life.
What is that angle of life?
As in that angle, you know, to be with your friends, to talk about things normally teenagers do, and
which is what? Clothes, girls, movies,
yeah,
rock?
Clothes, girls, movies, fashion, everything. So
which one of those four actually holds your interest the most?
I think clothes, because I've got to get a new wardrobe.
And now you're sounding like a 19-year-old. Thank God. Thank God. What else? What about girls? What about films? What about music?
I watch movies sometimes.
And you skip the girls bit?
I've skipped the girls, yeah. That's for the timing that's...
There's no time, is it?
There's no time, yeah.
A lot of copycats of bridal Asia that have happened. So in a sense, you started the trend. But what was it like?
Firstly, I think imitation is the best form of flattery.
How hard has it been for you as a woman to actually make a breakthrough within this industry?
After you've done the whole job, and they want to introduce you to somebody, they say, here's the interior designer. And I say, hello, you know, who did the rest of the building?
I'm going to start a concept where I don't have funding. I'm going to start a concept which might not work. I don't know if this whole thing will work out. Oh, and I just forgot, I was planning to get married in between all this.
Did you think you were mad?
Yeah.
Nobody is perfect. And once you realize that and you understand...
So says the woman who was on Newsweek for being the perfect face.
Right. No, I'm certainly not the perfect face. No.
How hard was it to actually convince your family and also the clients that you were approaching?
They said, Chowkidar contractor, I mean, what are you getting into?
That's why I'm crazy about automobile technology, not just cars, and, you know, the fact that they look rather good.
You have a thing for speed, don't you?
No, I don't. I will not admit it in public.
Aircraft.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Advertising.
Okay. I'll have to accept that.
You've got all the right sort of credentials, but in terms of relationship, you're single, and you're obviously right up there on the eligible bachelors list now. What about the offers on that front?
No, I thought we will not talk about this.
No, we will talk about it.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
No, I don't have any particular connections at any place at this point in time.
What is the perfect blend, the combination that you're watching out for?
Okay, this is one place where I don't have, you know, a strategy.
You don't have a list?
No, not at all.
Anyone on the horizon?
I would rather not say.
You're getting married in a couple of months.
Yes.
Do physicists fall in love?
Absolutely.
Is it like how the rest of us fall in love, or?
I can't generalize, but physicists, I fell in love very strongly.
Well, then we take a break on the best of Young Turks, but do come right back. We've still got a lot of Power Patch action coming your way.